Hey everyone, welcome back to this series of 9 videos focusing on all aspects of your study skills. A huge shout out to the team at Crash Course and Thomas Frank for creating such an amazing course over there so I can compile all of the wisdom into this powerful mind map so you too can improve your skills on studying for exams and get better grades in less time and less stress. Now for this particular video on studying for exams, I've actually gone out of the content of what Crash Course was actually teaching, and I've actually focused on the actual elements that I've been teaching inside Study Smarter Academy, and we're going to talk about the particular 3 elements that we're going to cover right here today that I've seen many students, when they focus on these 3 elements, their exam grades are going to go up almost inevitably if you put your effort into focusing and improving these particular efficiency areas. Now we've got lots to cover, so let's dive right into this. So before we even go into these 3 particular categories of efficiencies that you should really be improving, first of all I want to take a step back and actually analyze what actually are exams and what makes up your exam grades, because if you understand that, you understand where these are derived from, and you have a better understanding where you should focus your attention to if you want to improve your grades and do it in less time so you can have more free time to do what you like without feeling guilty. So the first thing you really need to know is that our exam is actually just merely composed of really a syllabus, and this syllabus then broken down to further, it's actually made up of individual learning outcomes. And for national exams and a lot of state exams, for the one that I did back in high school was ASA level, which is equivalent to the UK ones, and as you progress further into university, your learning outcomes really determines by your lecturers and what they want to teach, and sometimes they have lecture outcomes or the content that's actually taught in each and every single one of their lectures, and you can break it down into a syllabus. And then once you have the syllabus that is set by the exam board or your lecturer, these learning outcomes actually forms your exam questions. For example, as a representative, there may be 5 of these learning outcomes, and they will derive exam questions out here. And of course, depending on your subject, you can have 50, 100, or even more if you're, for example, in medicine, like I was. And then once these exam questions are set out, what you're really doing is trying to recall information, facts, concepts, all of these things from your brain and put it into meaningful keywords, phrases, and sentences onto that exam paper. And then your teachers or lecturers actually just mark you and give you an exam grade. So it sounds very simple, but if you actually try to break it down, there are only a couple of things that you need to focus on to improve your grades, and it's a very, very scientific process. And I've gone through this in thousands of students inside Study Smarter Academy right now, and inevitably when they improve these particular aspects, their grades will improve. And this was the exact process what the author of Ultra Learning, with an amazing book by the way by Scott Young, he actually completed an MIT program which was 4 years undergraduate. He actually managed to complete it in 1 year, and he wasn't even an MIT student, he was actually just doing it online. He did it to prove that it was possible. And the first key point he talks about was actually meta learning, or the process of learning how to learn. If you want to do well in exams, you need to understand what makes up a good student or a bad student and actually learn how to learn and how to study, because this actually can accelerate your efforts and actually compile your efforts so it becomes exponential later. And this was the particular process that Scott went through, focusing on the syllabus, focusing on what elements is important to achieve this amazing feat of actually completing this MIT program in just a quarter of the time. So let's talk about the first efficiency area you need to focus on, which is your time efficiency. So in regards to time, it's really thinking about, are you actually just having bums on seats time? Meaning, are you just having a bum on the seat and your brain is actually not really focusing? Or are you actually in this flow state a lot of time? And I've talked a lot about this in my study efficiency curve, which we've got productivity up on one axis and then we've got time on the other axis. And as you continue to warm up and dive into one task, your productivity goes up and up and up. But a lot of times students actually go on the phones and actually get distracted, so they end up having to go and warm up again. Oh, where was I? What was I doing right now? And they have to actually get in the zone again. So they can continue to work on this low productivity zone, and they never really get into this productivity zone, or people call it the flow state. So to optimize this, how are we able to continue to be not distracted and continue to go into this flow state? Are you able to vary your environment? Are you able to vary your sleep? A lot of things that you can vary to try to maximize your time in this productivity zone. And then we've got the other extreme as well. People sitting there for hours and hours and hours on end. And as we progress with time, our productivity actually sharply drops and your brain starts to be fuzzy and you can't really concentrate that well. And this is really where you reach this burnout zone, where your productivity continues to tail off. And a lot of students still try to force themselves, I need to do this 6 hours of study today because my exam's going to be coming up soon and I need to finish all this cramming. And this is why a lot of cramming is inefficient, because you need to stuff so much stuff in your brain, and our human mind is just not designed to focus for that long of a period of time. And that is where breaks come in, where we covered in our previous video. So the second problem of time efficiency of actually completing, not even getting your bums on seats time. Now this is where procrastination kicks in, and we've done a whole section on this on our separate video on procrastination. So if this is indeed a problem for you, make sure to check out that video, put a link here as well. So this is the first key area, because it all plays a part ultimately to feed into learning our syllabus. If you're not able to put in enough time or efficient time, then you're just not working, or working hard but not achieving much in terms of learning the syllabus and the knowledge, concepts and facts required for you to do well in exams. Next, we have our study efficiency, which broadly is represented by your study system. And by study system, I mean the day in, day out habits and techniques that you use to learn all of what is required for the concepts, the facts. Now this is the knowledge part. So with concepts, we talk about your learning speed. How fast are you able to grasp concepts and learn these concepts? And there are particular ways we'll talk about in later videos on how to improve your learning speed, or learning how to learn actually. And then with facts, a lot of times, for example, a list of meaningless objects and examples, particular compounds that we use in chemistry, a lot of time it doesn't make much sense. So we need to memorize these. So this is represented by your memorization techniques. How well are you able to get information, even meaningless information that don't relate to one another, to try and stick that to your brain? And this is where this study system comes in terms of your knowledge. So your learning speed and also your memorization techniques, filling in your concepts with facts and combining these. How are you able to quickly learn and memorize these things? And last but not the least, even if you have a good learning speed and you have a good memorization technique, if you don't have good what we call personal performance, you're probably only able to do this for a short period of time. And we all know that studying is a long journey. It's more like a marathon than a sprint. You don't want to be learning just well for like 2 minutes in a day. You want to be consistent and able to do it a couple of hours a day over the course of the whole year. That is really the best way of doing this. And so this comes down to your efficient daily routines. And again, we'll cover efficient daily routines in our later upcoming videos. And then all of these feed back to your ability to learn these learning outcomes and syllabus. And so you can see that once you're able to absorb all of this information quickly, efficiently and sustainably, then we can talk about the last bit, which is your exam efficiency. How well are you actually doing in exams? Now first of all, we talk about the knowledge part, which is how well you're able to, in a short time, retain information and apply this knowledge. And again, as a bigger picture, this part over here, time and study efficiency, all of these factors feed into your knowledge. And then the second part, of course, again, is your performance. How well are you performing exams? Do you struggle with exam anxiety? How are you able to overcome that? Do you have mind blanks when you come to exams? And do you make a lot of silly mistakes? Sometimes you walk into the exams and you expect that you're going to get a very high mark, and then you come out and it's actually a disappointing mark. And all of these knowledge and performance actually feed into your ability to answer these exam questions. And ultimately, all of these form your exam grades. And as you can see, all of these, I can probably do like an hour talking about just each and every single one of these problems. For example, with concepts, we've only basically just touched about a little bit about this in the memory section. So I'll cover a lot more about your learning speed and learning how to learn in later modules as well. So with this particular study skill session, hopefully I can succinctly tell you, you just need to focus on your time efficiency, your study efficiency, exam efficiency, and all of these elements down below. And inevitably, it will increase your ability to learn the syllabus and your ability to answer those exam questions, and it will translate almost inevitably to your better exam grades in less time. So I know we've done a lot of writing and scribbling. My writing, I know, definitely is not the best. So I've actually created a written version that you can actually access down in the description below. And make sure to share it with your friends if you find that this can benefit them as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.